This is the program that shows you the side of police chase videos they didn't want you to see. Bungled arrests, kamikaze crooks and cop-based carnage of all kinds. Welcome to Cops Uncut, the real car crash TV. Coming up on Cops Uncut. This burger burglar gets caught by the heavy mob. This boozer gets his trousers back to front. And this long-distance lorry driver has his trip cut short.
Taking off again.
American cops are famous for their love of junk food. So when they hear that the bloke in the car ahead has just robbed one of their favorite big-name burger bars, they take it very seriously indeed. Had he held up a health spa or a fitness club, the boys in blue might not have been so passionate about seeing justice served. But this takeaway robber has shown blatant disregard for something that's much closer to the cops' hearts, not to mention their stomachs. He may as well have committed blasphemy, which explains why the cops are sticking so doggedly to his tail. They even follow him through red lights and stop signs as he twists and turns his way through the back streets of Fort Worth, Texas. The suspect knows he's pissed off the police and is desperate to find a way out of the city so that he can put his foot down and lose his pursuers. This Burger King blows his way through red light after red light with little apparent thought for his or anybody else's safety. He ignores one more set of lights at this busy junction and finally makes it onto the beltway that'll take him out of town. Now it's time to ramp up the gas. The fast food fugitive makes full use of the open road to put some space between him and the cops. It looks like he might be about to give them the slip as well. But it soon becomes all too clear that this Kentucky Fried criminal has bitten off more than he can chew. Thanks to his airbag, the accident isn't fatal. Before he can wreak any more havoc, the Texan troopers take him into custody. And to help them close the case, they send for their biggest fast food expert to see if he can get to the bottom of things. They say that junk food is bad for you, and maybe they're right. Because when this robber tried to take away more than just the free ketchup, he ended up with one very unhappy meal. Still to come in part 1. This guy gets his knickers in a twist, and this trucker takes a trip to the penitentiary. Drunk test dummies. If you're up to the eyeballs in hooch, it's fairly easy to get things the wrong way round. Take the drunk test dummy up in the car ahead, for example, one Mark Dyke from Columbus, Ohio. Mark has had such a skinful that he can't remember whether he's supposed to drive on the left or on the right.
What are you doing?
Narrowly avoiding a collision, he eventually settles for the hard shoulder. It seems he's just sober enough to realize what the flashing lights behind him mean. It's time for this guy to face the music.
How you doing?
Okay.
I just need to see your license, registration, also your insurance card.
Before he was swerving all over the road,
Oh, I just want to get home.
But now he's slurring all over a traffic cop. The officer realizes that it's time to come at this from a slightly different angle.
Why don't you go ahead and shut your car off for me? And don't worry about the insurance card and the registry. I want you to step on out and explain to you why I got you stopped.
Sure.
Where are you coming from tonight?
I'm going to work.
Going to work?
Yeah.
Where you work at?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, well, I'm on my way.
All right, just come on back over here, okay?
Yeah.
Poor Mark doesn't seem to know whether he's coming or going.
Just come on over here. I want you out on the road, all right?
He's wheeled over to the trooper's cruiser for the drunk test, but it's pretty obvious before he even starts
You got your pants on backwards, Mark?
that Mark is unlikely to do well.
No.
You got the rear and the front.
It's been a long day.
How many hours you work today?
150 hours.
His trousers clearly aren't the only thing he's got back to front. But regardless of how little sense he's making, it's time for the test itself. And if Mark can't do a simple thing like put his clothes on properly, then there's little hope of him coping with complicated instructions like these.
Now, when I tell you to begin, only when I tell you to begin, what you're going to do is you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps forward on this
All
white
right.
line. You go ahead and begin.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sure enough, he's looking distinctly wobbly.
Huh?
You want to go ahead and finish?
How many?
Now, to you or I, it might seem fairly unnecessary to carry on with the testing at this point. But these officers seem intent on seeing it through to the bitter end. Perhaps they're just being thorough. Or perhaps they just enjoy watching a man with his trousers on backwards stumbling around all over the road.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Let's come on up here, all right?
Either way, the evening's proceedings eventually reach their natural conclusion. And while this fellow's dress sense might have been a little unpredictable,
Right now, I'm going to place you under arrest for OVI.
the results of his test aren't entirely unexpected. If you're trying to escape from the police, there are basically 2 ways you can go. You could pick a small, fast car and hope that speed and agility would enable you to outrun your pursuers. Or you could get hold of the biggest, meanest vehicle you can find and use size to your advantage. The driver of the 18-wheeler ahead, however, appears to be going for a rather unorthodox blend of both techniques. He's definitely gone down the bigger is better route, and he's also driving his behemoth down this Texas turnpike at some fairly hair-raising speeds. Not only that, but he's weaving his juggernaut in and out of the busy Friday afternoon traffic as if it was a soft-top roadster. You can see from its occasional wobbles that lorries like these probably aren't meant to be used as high-speed getaway vehicles. But despite weighing in at around 40 tons, the huge truck somehow stays upright. Even after a close encounter with a Winnebago and a motorcycle cop trying to shoot out his tires. When the traffic gets really bad, he just slips into the hard shoulder and kicks some dust in the pursuing policemen's faces. And when the cops attempt an ill-advised pit maneuver, he just bats them off as if they were flies. All in all, it seems to be going rather well for the trucker. That is, until he gets caught in 2 lanes of gridlock. But here's where that size advantage comes in handy. Because if you can't see a way around the people in front with a lorry this big, you can simply drive right through them. Having cleared himself a path, the chase is back on. And now this daring HGV hoodlum has got himself a big old convoy of highway patrolmen on his case. One of the cops takes a pop at a tire. But he's got 17 more where that came from and doesn't seem to be particularly fazed. Just when the cops think they're in this for the long haul, the fugitive seems to come to his senses. Perhaps he was worried about the max headroom of that overpass. Or maybe he's just abiding by union rules which clearly state that drivers need to take regular rest breaks whilst on the road. Or perhaps the drugs that a later medical exam proved he'd been taking start to wear off. Whatever the case, the police box him in, and this dirty great trucker is finally brought to a grinding halt. It's the height of summer in the deep south. Through this Mississippi cop's bug-encrusted windscreen, we can just about see the teenage terror ahead, swerving his car wildly across the road. Perhaps the humid weather has brought out this kid's bad side. Or perhaps the high pollen count has brought on his hay fever. Either way, he was reported to the police for trying to buy antihistamines at a nearby chemist. Hardly a crime, you say? Well, probably not under normal circumstances, but the particular pills this youthful fellow was trying to purchase include the active agent pseudoephedrine hydrochloride, which just happens to be one of the key ingredients of crystal meth. Judging by this bad boy's driving, either his sinuses really are bad or he's hopped up on his own homebrew meds. Whichever way you look at it, he's clearly speeding his socks off. Near misses like these are unmistakable symptoms of live fast, die young. And from his refusal to drive on the right side of the road, it's obvious that this kid was born on the wrong side of the tracks. His desire to lose control of his senses has led him to lose control of his car. But somehow he manages to hold it together. And it isn't until our amateur chemist spots a police spike strip laid out in front of him that the drugs seem to kick in. And he starts to flip out. Before the dust has had a chance to settle, this trooper approaches with gun outstretched. The firearm is a bit of a pointless gesture given the severity of the accident, but he's taking no chances. Ironically, the suspect really is in need of medical attention now, but instead of waiting for the paramedics, the cop drags the druggie from his wreck, dumps him on the grass, and treats him to a little TLC Southern style. Thankfully, the suspect hasn't broken anything important. He's just grateful the whole bad trip is behind him.
Taking off again.
Still to come in part 2. These hippie-hating cops learn to smoke the pipe of peace. And this cow is dead meat. It wasn't me, Gov. If there's one thing that unites American law enforcers, it's their hatred of hippies. So when this mystery machine full of long-haired interlopers turns up in Anchorage, Alaska, they don't get the warmest of welcomes.
Step in the car. Any proof of insurance here? Okay, out of the car. You're gonna get out of the car, I'm gonna jerk you out of the car. Because I'm gonna impound this vehicle. Get out of the car. Why are you gonna impound it? Because you have no insurance. He needs to come out of the car ASAP.
Perhaps if this was a carload of visiting gun control lobbyists,
Do you hear me talking to you?
they might have got more of a red carpet reception.
Out of the car. Let's go.
But the instant the cops get the car doors open, they're greeted by a familiar herbal odor.
So you have no insurance.
Go away.
Okay, here.
And it's not long before they're treating the beatniks to a beating.
Why are you doing? Sit down. down.
Why are you...
Hands on your back. Ma'am, stop resisting. Ma'am, get on the curb. Get on the curb, ma'am. Get on the curb. Stop resisting.
At first, the officers focused their attention on the fabulous furry freak brother they pulled out of the back seat.
I have no idea why. I don't know what he has on him. I know what I have on me, which was that marijuana. And otherwise, I don't got nothing else.
Does he have no idea what else in the car? No. I smell a strong odor, so.
Well, we did smoke one on the way down here. We did smoke one.
Not that pipe.
I don't know what happened to the other pipe. It's somewhere around there. I don't even know.
But Swampy here clearly isn't the ringleader. Perhaps the driver, seen earlier slipping a pipe-like object into her pocket, might be able to help. She's booked for a private meeting in the back of the squad car and given the softly treatment by Anchorage's most boho-friendly cop.
Nicole, I just want to ask you about the no insurance thing here. The car was recently given to you? Okay. When I walked up in the car here, I smelled marijuana. Do you know why I smelled that? You don't know why? Okay, well...
But this hippie chick isn't about to give in to the man. Without any evidence, the questioning goes round in circles.
Who was smoking it? All four of you, or just you, or? No, it wasn't you then? Oh, okay. Do you know who else had a hit? You don't know? If you had a hit, you must have handed it to somebody, right?
And despite the obvious pipe-shaped bulge in their suspect's trousers,
next to you?
the whole case eventually goes up in smoke.
Taking off again.
Some films like to mix up their genres to keep you on your toes, like this late-night screening from the Florida PD. It starts off like a road movie, but when things move to the grass verge, it all goes a bit creepy.
Driver, step out of the vehicle.
Put your hands out the window.
Driver, roll your window down and exit the vehicle. Tap your brake lights if you can hear me.
Tap once for yes and twice for no. And if that wasn't spooky enough for you, then watch as this trooper does his best impersonation of the girl from the Ring movies. In fact, this homage to Japanese horror films is standard procedure in face-off situations like these. The Honda ahead fits the description of a vehicle that was involved in a kidnapping, and the police have to use extreme caution, which apparently involves sticking your arse in the air, whilst wearing some kind of Halloween gimp mask getup. In the true spirit of trick or treat, the cops have got a nasty surprise in store for their suspect. They detonate a series of pepper balls in the direction of the driver. The idea being that the chemical irritant will somehow find its way into the car's air filtration system and smoke their suspect out. The suspect has had enough, so it's back on the tarmac as we switch lanes to the road movie genre once again. The chase is brought to a stop, and it's time to find out who's inside the car. No more clever tricks for the cops, though. Now's the opportunity to show off some of those moves they've learned from watching action movies. Like smashing the window, dropping your torch, and running away. But when they finally get a good look at their suspect, they're rather surprised by what they see, because the driver isn't the monster they were expecting at all. In fact, she's a woman. At first, the police seem unsure as to how they should treat a lady, but after a brief moment's hesitation, they let her have the full Monty.
I got the subject secure, pepper sprays and tape.
In the end, this drive-in movie had something for everyone. The woman in the car thought she was Thelma and Louise. But the cops managed to turn it into a horror flick with some disturbing scenes of a graphic nature. And before it was time to go home, the police even threw a spot of slapstick comedy into the mix. We all like to bring home souvenirs from our trips abroad, but these border town troopers are on the hunt for a fleeing Chevy pickup. And after a recent holiday in Mexico, the driver has brought home more than just a sombrero and a bottle of spicy sauce. At first, they think they might have lost sight of the truck in question, but they soon come across it, or rather, what's left of it after it crashes into this van. Now the suspect is fleeing on foot and making a desperate bid for the border. The cops might be able to catch him too if they just stopped bunny hopping all over the road and generally blocking each other's path. Stun guns at the ready, the cops close in on their quarry, but the border's just a few feet away now. The troopers in our vehicle attempt to head him off at the pass, but the suspect has got the theme tune to The Great Escape in his head and he makes one last dash for it. Unfortunately for him, he's more Steve McQueen than James Coburn and is snagged at the gates just off camera. With the suspect safely in custody, it's time to head back to the scene of the earlier wreck. The cops aren't unduly surprised to find an entire plantation's worth of pot in the pickup. Because there are two sorts of things that get smuggled over the border, and this Chevy is no people carrier. There's nothing the cops hate more than a false alarm, but every call has to be treated seriously. So when reports come in of a disturbance near the highway, the good old boys on night patrol bravely head off to investigate. They're expecting a desperate drug dealer or a trigger-happy armed robber, but it turns out that this particular 911 call was just a load of old bull. Which goes to show there's a silver lining to every cloud. Because when their alleged emergency reveals itself to be 1,500 pounds of prime beef, the cowboy cops put their suspect out of its misery and end up with a stakeout of a very different kind. So what have we learnt today on Cops Uncut? Hold up a hamburger joint and the cops could end up making mince meat out of you. Substance abuse can lead to engine abuse. And you won't make it to Mexico with a car full of cannabis. Be careful out there.